Welcome to A&I Podcast, sir.
Thank you.
We have Rachiram, sir, from Form and Spaces today. So, sir, I want to understand. I've gone through your journey as how did you start, and also I found something which I was very curious about.
Mhm.
So, you're an advocate by education and a designer by profession.
Mhm.
So, what made you become a designer and leave your advocate career?
I was not too keen on getting into the books,
Okay.
so I had to look for another avenue
Uh-huh.
where I can show my creativity.
Right.
So out of all the various things, I thought this would suit my liking.
So this was something which was, from your childhood, did you want to do something into the creative field, or
Yeah, to various creative fields, but from childhood, every year you will have a different dream.
right?
Hmm.
So when did you feel that that interior design is the industry that you want to be part of? And
No, till I stopped my law, I had no inclination towards this.
so you also pursued your career as an advocate and then moved to interior designing?
Yes, yes. For 1 year, I did tax laws.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
awesome.
Mm.
So when you moved from a law to a design fraternity,
Yeah.
so I believe it has not been easy. I mean, you started somewhere in 1992.
No, but it's been gradual. I went into retail business of interior furniture,
Oh wow,
then manufacturing, then into PMC contracts. From there to practicing design.
wonderful.
So it's been a journey that way.
So, sir, how was your first project like? I mean, the first project is always special. It's like the
Yeah.
first love.
Hmm.
So, how was your first project?
That I should say I've been very fortunate with hardly a academic background in this field and new in this line. I could get the opportunity to design Ravi Ohri's house, which
Okay.
was the biggest house in Jubilee Hills.
Oh wow,
Yeah, Banjara Hills.
nice. And this is way back in
This is about 25 years ago.
25 years. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Okay, nice. So, one challenge, or probably again, the design field altogether, it's very subjective, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Probably something that looks nice to my eye might not look nice to your eye. And
Definitely.
you've been designing houses,
Mm.
which again in India is a very, very personal thing,
Mm.
right? Because for people, house is a very personal choice. So, any weird request, or any significant, any request that you've got from a client which was very difficult to execute, or which was not practically possible in terms of functionality?
See, first and foremost, there's nothing called as weird. It's a requirement. It's a need.
Right.
So let's leave it at that. Okay, there were difficulties. Yeah.
Right.
And I had to
Being diplomatic.
Huh?
Being little diplomatic, not calling it weird now.
No, never was it weird.
Okay.
For me, it was a learning cycle.
Also, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So any specific moment that you remember that that a client had a strange requirement, or a requirement which probably you felt is functionally not possible, or will not suit the client's need, and how did you cater to it, or how did you come to a conclusion, convincing the client that that this should be done or not should be done?
As I told you, I never felt that anything was weird.
Okay.
I in fact learned a lot from my clients, from their requirements, from their needs, and it was a challenge to see that I do whatever they needed.
Wonderful. So, any specific moment or point that you remember that you feel was a turning point of your career, or that was a stepping stone for your career? It's been 30 years now. It's almost like 3 decades. You're here now. So, any significant moment that you remember that probably changed your entire career?
Yeah, the first and foremost is when I started the career, I had a neighbor, Rahul Bhattacharya, who is the regional director of ACC Cements.
Mhm.
Right, he's given me the big break. So I did all the their factory places in Wadi, Shabad, Mancherial, Krishna. So that was a line of work I had been doing. That is design and execution.
Okay.
So that taught me a lot.
And this was around how many years back are we talking this now?
Again, about 20-25 years between that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
So 30 years, I believe you must have worked on different projects,
Yes.
residential, commercial,
Mm.
retail, hospitality.
Yeah.
So which among this is your favorite, or which is your keen interest that you like designing?
Hospitality.
Hospitality. Any
Yeah.
specific reason why?
That's where people come and see my job.
If you can probably help us get to know more about it, as to what do you mean by that?
Now, this is a house.
Right.
How many people do really have a look
Footfall.
at the
Okay.
footfalls?
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All
So
right.
whereas that's a public place.
Okay.
So I get my mileage there
Yes.
more
Nice.
than
Nice.
I do it here.
Got it. Yes. 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 So
Okay.
you must also have worked with a normal household,
Yes.
and at the same time, you must have worked with some politician or a celebrity at the same
Yes.
time.
Yes.
So how is it different working, with a normal household, or with a common man when compared to these celebrities or politicians?
I don't look at them as celebrities. I look at them as a client. So it doesn't make a difference who they are.
But I mean, the way probably the requests come to you in terms of work, or their requirements.
There's hardly any difference, except they would want a little more security, privacy when
Okay.
you talk of these politicians or film stars and all.
Mhm.
So that will be a additional field I have to look into.
Awesome. So also understanding that the world is changing, and technology and everything is actually getting into each and every house. How do you think technology as a whole has helped you to deliver better spaces to people?
See, when I started my practice, we were still with our set squares and things like that. And then we moved into AutoCAD. So
Right.
we could deliver much better,
Right.
much more.
Right.
So that way, at every stage, I feel that there's a lot of improvement in the
Right.
type of works we do and the deliveries, as well as the availability of materials.
True.
Earlier, I think just about 8-9 years ago, for everything we had to either go abroad or Bombay or Delhi to get our materials.
Right. Awesome. And so, I mean, technology has its own advantage and disadvantage. So when I say the disadvantage, but now I'm talking about Pinterest, right? So a lot of people think that they get a design on the Pinterest and then tell ki haan.
So basically, they do our job and pay us.
But doesn't it become difficult? It's always said that if I have to construct a house from the basement,
Yes.
it's easy for me because I exactly know what am I doing, right? But something like this, where you have people, or the client coming and telling that this is what I want and this is what you have to do. Does it not make your life a little difficult working with such clients?
See, initially I did have some reservations on this.
Right.
But then I thought that is the trend which is going on. So there's no point fighting the trend.
Okay. So overall, what do you think? What generation of people, when they come to you, come with such, the Pinterest designs and all? Or is it all set of people in all age groups?
No, mostly the younger generation.
Right.
Say between 25 and 40.
Okay.
They basically come with a prepared plan and ideas.
As to what they exactly want.
Yeah.
So is
and
that
more than the Pinterest, most of the people say, I want it the way my neighbor has done.
Okay. All right. So it's more like copying a design rather than having their own perspective.
That's their need.
But let's say, sir, when you are designing a house, so what are the things that you keep in mind, or what's the kind of discussion that you have with the client before
It starts with the functional areas. We look more at the space usage, utilization. Then we develop the design from there.
Right.
Primary thing is
The
space
functionality.
planning.
Awesome. So you've been with A&I for quite some time, and you've been I believe, reading through our magazines. So how do you think, A&I as a magazine is being instrumental in helping architects, interiors, or the entire fraternity as a whole?
I would say in a very great way, because from day one I've been looking at the coverage of your magazine. So not only they give insight of various architects and designers' views and styles, but even it gives you a total input on products, materials. So it's like a wholesome magazine for a designer, and everyone should definitely go through that.
Awesome. And so one suggestion, or I mean, you've been here for 30 years now, so you're a mentor figure. So something that you want to tell to the upcoming generation who want to pursue the design field and who want to become an interior designer and flourish in their career. So what's your take, and what is that you want them to do's and don'ts from your end?
Actually speaking, today's generation is far ahead than us. So there's nothing much I would like to tell. Just be true to your design and philosophy. That's it. Only then you'll have variety.
So when you talk about design philosophies of form and spaces as a design firm, so what's design philosophy that you follow?
See, I believe in open spaces, clear lines, and clutter-free spaces, just like you see in this house.
Right. We'd also want to take a tour of the house, where you
Okay.
can probably help us understand as to when you're designing this house. So why have you designed the house in a particular way? So we can
So
probably
you should ask the client.
We will definitely.
First, you should ask whether he allowed me to design my way.
Yeah. I think from day one, even before we started this house, we thought of, okay, is it time for us to try something new? And it so happened that we even talked to two other folks. But somehow, even doing the rounds, talking to friends and everybody, finally we ended up with Raj. Because I think he understands what we want. After talking to us, I think one of the unique quality or the unique trait that Raj sir has is after he talks with the client, after some time he kind of gets to know what they really want, right? Because we look at Pinterest, Google and whatnot, we come with all these images in mind. And after he talks to us, he's able to distill through all that clutter and finally figure out, hey, this is exactly what the client wants, right? So once we got used to it, we are now kind of stuck with it.
Like a family position.
We're not able to. In my family, has done two of my sisters' houses, four of mine, two of my friends.
Wow.
So it's been and then I was just talking to her, and we have another one coming up maybe in 6 months that we definitely would want Raj sir on it.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.